it's Brooke, and I am super excited because today is my very first book haul. Yes! So I just want to start out, disclaimer. I am in no way, shape, or form rich. I don't have tons of funds that I would like to have to spend on books. And so even though I used to not like libraries because I have this thing about sharing books, I don't like to share with friends, nonetheless strangers, and I don't like deadlines. But the town that I'm living in now has a pretty amazing library, if I do say so myself, and I do. So I've been utilizing the library a lot, and I actually really kind of love it. It's changed my opinion on libraries and how you run them, because they have a whole online database, which is really cool, so you can renew your books online, order books to be brought to the library, and then you can go pick them up. It's a really cool system, so my opinion on libraries has changed. So most of the book hauls you see will be library book hauls. I hope you don't mind too much. But this is a special rare occasion when I was able to purchase 4 books, 2 last week and 2 this week, and I'm going to share them with you today. We good? Good. Awesome. Let's get started. Woo! The first books I'm going to talk about are the books I bought myself and that are going to be in my collection forever and ever, and then we'll move on to the library books later. So, the first book is John Green, Looking for Alaska. I've been wanting to read this book for a really long time. I guess I'll just read you the back of each one and speed it up a little bit. So,
before, Miles Pudge Halter's whole existence had been one big non-event, and his obsession with famous last words has only made him crave the great perhaps. Francois Rabelais, Post, even more. He heads off to some crazy, possibly unstable, and anything but boring world of Culver Creek boarding school, and his life becomes the opposite of safe. Because down the hall is Alaska Young, the gorgeous, clever, funny, sexy, self-destructive, screwed up, and utterly fascinating Alaska Young, who is an event unto herself. She pulls Pudge into her world, launches him into the great perhaps, and steals his heart. After, nothing is ever the same.
So this book was fantastic. Can't wait to review it today. The next book I bought was Sea of Monsters, which I have already finished and will be filming the review for today, because figure why not just get 2 reviews out of the way. Or not out of the way, just get them done. I'll also be filming that today, but that will be posted later next week. So this is book 2 of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. The Lightning Thief was amazing. Sea of Monsters was amazing, and I'm not going to read you the back because it's a series, and you should go pick it up. It's wonderful. Rick Riordan is amazing. Okay, so today, after finishing The Sea of Monsters, I ran right out to the bookstore again, picked up The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan, 3rd book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I'm going to read another book in between the 2nd and 3rd, just so I can make the series last as long as possible, especially how fast I go through the books. And then the last book I bought was by Ridley Pearson. It's Kingdom Keepers. It's a really cheesy series that I started about 1.5 years ago, or 2 years ago now, gosh. I picked it up when I was on a Disney trip. I wasn't bored. It was just really crappy one day, so I went down to the gift shop and they had this book, or the first 2 books, so I got those, loved them, and then I bought the 4th book for whatever reason, and not the 3rd, so I picked that up today. I probably won't read this for a while because I need to refresh myself on the 2nd book, but I figured, it's there. And once again, I will not read you the back because it's part of a series. Okay, on to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 library books I have. The first book I picked up is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. I read The Hunger Games a while ago. I know what happens. I've seen the movie, which was actually a pretty good representation of what happened in the book. And honest, I liked The Hunger Games. I did, but it wasn't really like my favorite book ever, but I am really interested to see what happens now that Peeta and Katniss are back to District 12. So I'll be reading this next. This is my next book. I don't know if I'll review it, though, because I didn't review The Hunger Games. Maybe I'll read all 3 and then just review the series. I'll figure it out, and I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to give you the synapse because it's a series book. Sorry. Next book I picked up, honestly, I was just walking around the young adult section, and I picked up The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, and I loved the movie. I saw the movie like everyone else in my generation, and it is wonderful and beautiful and amazing. I love those two movies so much. So I picked it up, and I just read the jacket, and a few things are different. She's from New York, so awesome. Amelia or Mia is from New York. That's different. Her dad's alive. That's different. So I'm actually really interested to read this book. I'm just a little nervous because I love the movie so much, and I know that's really weird to say that you might be afraid that the movie is better than the book, but I don't think it's going to be better. I think it's just going to be different. So I'll read the inside cover.
She's just a New York City girl, living with her artist mom. Newsflash, Dad is Prince of Genovia, so that's why a limo meets her at the airport. Downer, Dad can't have any more kids, so no heir to the throne. Shock of the century. Like it or not, Mia Thermopolis is prime princess material. The worst part? Mia must take princess lessons from her dreaded grandmère, the Dowager Princess of Genovia, who thinks Mia has a thing or two to learn before she steps up to the throne. Well, her father can lecture her until he's royal blue in the face. Royal blue. About her princess duty. No way is she moving to Genovia and leaving Manhattan behind. But what's a girl to do when her name is Princess Amelia Mignonette Grimaldi Thermopolis Ronaldo?
Honestly, if I had never seen the movie, would not have known how to pronounce that name. So, I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds, I guess, a little weird. I've heard and seen mixed reviews, but, yeah, I'm excited to read it. The next book, really caught my eye. It's new in teen fiction, according to the library, and it's called Skinny by Donna Cooner. And I saw Skinny, and I saw a skinny girl on the front cover, and I was like, I wonder, if this is about eating disorders or whatnot. And then I read the inside jacket and was like, so it says,
find your voice, hopeless, freak, elephant, pitiful. These are the words of Skinny, the vicious voice that lives inside 15-year-old Ever Davy's head. Skinny tells Ever all the dark, unwhispered thoughts her classmates have about her. Ever knows she weighs over 300 pounds, knows she'll probably never be loved, and Skinny makes sure she never forgets it. But there is another voice, Ever's singing voice, which is beautiful and strong but has been silenced by Skinny. Partly in the hopes of trying out for the school musical, and partly to try and save her own life, Ever decides to undergo a risky surgery that may help her lose weight and start over. With the support of her best friend, Ever begins the long uphill battle towards change. But demons, she finds, are not easy to shake, not even as she sheds pounds, because Skinny is still around, and Ever will have to confront that voice before she can truly find her own. Debut author Donna Cooner brings warmth, wit, and startling insight to this powerful look at what happily ever after may mean after all.
The reason I picked up this book was because even though I'm nowhere near 300 pounds, I've always had issues with my weight and struggling in between skinny and what I believe is overweight, which is overweight, and my whole life. And I'm at that point again where I am overweight, and I am very interested to see what happily ever after may mean after all. So I'm really interested in reading this. The next book, James Patterson, Witch and Wizard. I saw a commercial for this book probably a year and a half ago now, or maybe even 2 years, I don't remember. And it looked really interesting. I don't know why I never picked it up, but I saw it in the library and read the inside, and it looked really interesting. So,
your books, music, and art, banned. You are holding an urgent and vital narrative that reveals the forbidden truth about these perilous times. This is the astonishing testimonial of Wissy and Wit Allgood, a sister and brother who were torn from their family in the middle of the night, slammed into prison, and accused of being a witch and wizard. They are not alone in their terrifying predicament. Thousands of young people have been kidnapped. Some have been accused, many others remain missing. Their fate is unknown, and the worst is feared, for the ruling regime will stop at nothing to suppress life and liberty, music and books, art and magic, and the pursuit of being a normal teenager. Most copies of this story have already been seized, shredded, or burned. Read this rare, surviving edition and pass it along with care before it's too late.
Actually, I like that when, Rick Riordan did the same thing with Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief. I love it when the fourth wall is broken and even just reading the inside cover of this or the first page of The Lightning Thief, when you feel like you're being dragged into the story, like, and that little voice in your head goes, oh, this might be real, that, I feel like that's a tell, like a immediate tell, this book is going to be fantastic. The next book is the next 2 books that I got are nonfiction, shockingly. I do like history and biographies, but I haven't actually read a nonfiction book in a while. So the first book I picked up is The Reluctant Mr. Darwin, and it is an intimate portrait of Charles Darwin and the making of his theory of evolution. So as I explained, I'm pre-veterinary, I love science, or biology mostly, and this guy is like my dude. And the next book is called The Whale Warriors, the battle at the bottom of the world to save the planet's largest animals.
If you have ever watched Animal Planet, you've probably seen at least commercials for a show called Whale Wars. It's about the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. These people go down in a boat that's really not equipped to go down to Antarctica, where the Japanese are illegally hunting and killing whales for whale meat. They say it's for research, but it's not. They have never published a study ever on whales. What they do is they go down to the Antarctic, which is a whale sanctuary, because there's a world moratorium on hunting whales, because in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we almost destroyed them. There are many species we have destroyed. They go down there and they prevent the Japanese from killing as many whales as they can. This past season, no whales were killed at all, which is phenomenal. But what the Japanese do is they go there and they say, oh, we're doing research. And the law states you can kill whales for research, but their bodies cannot be wasted. So what are they to do with all this whale that they're not doing? They're pretending to do research on it. Sell it. One whale goes for a ridiculous amount of money. I will tell you when I read this book the exact amount.
It's a huge controversy. I urge you to look it up. I'll link below to the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society down below. They're wonderful. They do lots of work on land and at sea for not only whales but sharks and seals as well. So I will definitely be reviewing this, and it'll be a very informative video and a very informative book for myself. It's basically just what life is like down there at the bottom of the world. Excuse my dog in the background. Alright, so those are my books that are now filling up my bookshelf. Hopefully, I'm really trying to rebuild my collection, so I'm slowly buying books, like one by one. Yeah, so I'm super excited. Expect my review of Looking for Alaska up tomorrow, and a review of The Sea of Monsters probably on Tuesday, maybe Monday. Most likely Tuesday. Alright guys, you'll see me tomorrow, and happy Passover to all who celebrated this past week.